to be done real soon.
Well, I don't know what they're smoking. First of all, look, Mueller put together 16 heavyweight prosecutors. 7 of them were donors to both Hillary or Obama's campaigns. We already know the lead FBI agent in the campaign had to be removed because he was sending out disparaging messages about the president.
The Clinton investigation.
Well, no.
And then he was removed from the Mueller. Correct?
Well, no, he cleared Hillary in the email server investigation, and then he's put in charge of the investigation to the president, and the president was tweeting about this morning. You get a picture that this investigation is out to get the president. It's not a good group of people, and I'm actually concerned, that they're not going to be fair.
Yeah, they're not going to be fair. Everybody that Robert Mueller hired was a Democrat. Everybody that Robert Mueller hired was someone who had whatever it takes to want to bring down a freely elected, duly elected, legally elected president of the United States. And if that's not the case, then I want them to prove that that's not the case. Since the American left is so terribly interested in making it so obvious that you got to prove yourself innocent instead of being proved guilty. Okay, let's turn the tables on that. You prove to me as a part of Mueller's investigation that you're not trying to sink this president. And my original question remains. I want to know just exactly what you think is going to happen if you remove this president before the next election. Just exactly what do you think is going to happen? You think we're just going to sit there and go softly into the night and say, well, we picked the president and I guess we were wrong. Thank God for the political elite. Thank God for the Hollywood actors that made us feel stupid about our decision. Thank goodness for fake news so that the only job guaranteed by the Constitution could be used to crap all over it. You think that's what we're going to do? You think what you're going to do is you're going to call the American military? And they're going to show up and they're going to put down anybody that happens to show up in Washington, D.C. with something resembling a pitchfork? You think that's what's going to happen? If you think that's what's going to happen, you're dreaming. And oh, by the way, Chris Ruddy is no friend of the President of the United States. He's the CEO of Newsmax. You know what he's trying to do? He's trying to cozy up to George Stephanopoulos, who was the other voice in that conversation, from ABC News. And what he's going to try to do is he's going to try to keep his place as one of the guys you talk to at a Washington, D.C. cocktail party. Chris Ruddy's trying to have it both ways. I'm his friend, but I really wanted him to know that I think there's an existential threat. Baloney. I didn't say it. Executive producer, the Philip Brown's finger hovering over the dump button. I didn't say it. This is garbage. And while we're on the subject of garbage, Robert S. Mueller III, New York Times, they doesn't say he's Bob Mueller or Mueller. They don't say he's Bob Mueller. He's Robert S. Mueller III. Yeah. He removed a top FBI agent this summer from his investigation into Russian election meddling after the Justice Department's Inspector General began examining whether the agent had sent text messages that expressed anti-Trump political views. You're not going to believe this, but this agent, Peter Strzok, sent out anti-Trump political views on Twitter. You're not going to believe that, are you? He's considered one of the most experienced and trusted FBI counterintelligence investigators. Well, now he's also considered one of the most experienced and trusted and biased FBI counterintelligence investigators. Politically biased, in fact. He helped lead the investigation into whether Hillary had mishandled classified information on her private email account. You think maybe she might have had a little bit of help in the investigation that she didn't deserve? or she shouldn't have had. Peter Strzok also played a major role in the investigation into links between President Trump's campaign and Russia. Well, where do you think some of that momentum for this supposed collusion came from? Oh, Hillary Clinton? No. She got rid of 33,000 recipes for baked ziti. That's what those were. Those emails. That's just baked ziti and flan. She's got a great recipe for flan, and that's all those were. That's what. Oh yeah, it was an illegal server only in the sense of that it's against the law to do what she was doing. That's the only reason that it was illegal. I mean, if the laws weren't actually there, it wouldn't have been illegal. Yeah, that's true. Doggone it, you're right again. Yeah, Agent Strzok, you are a credit to your formerly great agency. Yeah, so are things beginning to fall together yet? See, that's the whole thing. That's the terrible thing about the truth. You just can't keep it down forever. Even if you're the news media trying to keep it down forever, well, because you have politics to practice and you have people that you've got to screw over so that the right party is running the show. Not the people's choice. Good God. Mr. Strzok was reassigned this summer for Mr. Mueller's investigation to the FBI's Human Resources Department. Great. Where he has been stationed since. I'm so glad. Welcome to Siberia. The People briefed on the case said the transfer followed the discovery of text messages in which Mr. Strzok and a colleague reacted to news events like presidential debates in ways that could appear to be critical of Mr. Trump. Immediately upon hearing these allegations, the special counsel's office removed Mr. Strzok from the investigation. The Inspector General's office of the Justice Department said that as part of a larger inquiry it's conducting into how the FBI handled investigations related to the 2016 election, the office was reviewing allegations involving communications between certain individuals and will report its findings regarding those allegations promptly upon completion of the review of them. And I can't guarantee this is going to happen, and it hurts me to say it. It hurts me to say this. But how, in heaven's name, can we even believe the Inspector General's report in this now corrupted agency? Corrupted by politics. Of all things. President Donald Trump has opened up our eyes, we the people of the United States, into all kinds of just plain anti-American malfeasance on the part of the media, on the part of the Democrat Party, on the part of the Republican Party, on the part of the FBI, the CIA. The CIA. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence. The Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Justice. Is this America? Is this really where we live now? President Trump headed over to Utah this morning, defended Michael Flynn. Hillary Clinton lied many times to the FBI. Nothing ever happened to her. Flynn lied and they destroyed his life. I think it's a shame. It is a shame. It's also a sham. The Justice Department did not bring charges against Clinton over her use of a private email server while she was Secretary of State. Law enforcement officials say they do not believe that Clinton misled investigators. We have no basis to conclude that she lied to the FBI. And I will tell you this. I also agree with the FBI in this. Hillary Clinton did not lie about anything in her investigate or in her interviews with the FBI. She did not lie about anything. She went in there and she told them the exact, complete truth as she knew it. You know how we know? Because if she had tried to tell them the same garbage she tried to tell us, she'd be in jail right now. And you're going, well, wait a minute, how could this be? It's simple. She told us one thing, and she told the FBI the truth. She told the FBI the truth. And she told us something else. Remember, there is no transcript. Remember, it's just notes by people like Peter Strzok taking notes. She says something incredibly damaging to herself. Like I wanted to have complete control of everything that I said when I was Secretary of State. I wanted all of it. And yeah, I got rid of a whole bunch of stuff. And somebody sitting over there like Peter Strzok turns to the others and says, don't write that down. Don't write that down. It's not important. That's not an important detail. Don't write that down. If there was a video transcript, well, we'd have it, wouldn't we? But no, we don't have to do that because we're the FBI. We're trustworthy. Really? I don't even believe your Inspector General hasn't come up with a report yet, and I'm really having trouble thinking that it might even be close to reality. That's the Inspector General. This is what happens when you allow yourselves to be taken down the political road. So if you're a 3-year special agent, just beginning your career with the Bureau, you need to be paying attention to this. Because the next time you get sweet talked by some politician trying to get you to do something different than what you've already learned in FBI school, you need to say not only no, but you need to say, would you mind speaking into this recorder because we really need to end your political career right now? That's the FBI. That's the FBI that this country deserves. Not an FBI that goes and plays politics, abandons the truth, and chooses sides. Here is the chief counterintelligence special agent of the FBI looking through the truth to see the politics. Seduced by the deep state. Seduced by the deep state. So worry about all the rest of us here in the United States, you know, the people that the Constitution's talking about right there at the beginning when it says we the people. So is it time for us to start believing the fact that maybe I'm not just a nutcase in the middle of Dallas, Texas? Maybe I'm just a little right. You know, maybe he's right. Maybe these people in Washington, D.C. honestly do believe that everything they say is gold and everything that we think is stupid. Maybe they actually are trying to steal the country. Maybe we should start believing that a little bit. Maybe we should start saying, you need to get your butt out of that town so that we can put Americans in there. This is the Wells Report, the USA Radio Network.
All right, man. This whole thing is a big mess, man.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right in there?
All right, you got 1 minute.
One damn minute. Sorry. One darn minute. Darn it. One darn minute-ish. Hello, Stephen Popple. Hello, Mark Maynor. How are you guys? How's everything going? Welcome. Welcome to the show. Good to have you here.
All right, back in 10.
10 secondes. You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 866. I'm sorry, it's 844-927-6691. 844-927-6691. It's our telephone number. Chuck Todd is the host of NBC's Meet the Press. During the political panel discussion on Meet the Press yesterday, moderator Chuck Todd fretted that the removal of an FBI agent from Robert Mueller's Russia investigation for sending anti-Trump text messages might be, quote, bordering into thought police territory, unquote. The group proceeded to worry that the president would use the incident to discredit the probe. Well, of course. Horrible 48 hours for the president with this investigation, but he was handed one helpful PR moment here. An FBI agent was just removed from Bob Mueller's team for anti-Trump tweets. I have to say, part of me thought, wait a minute, are we bordering into thought police territory? No, we're not. We are bordering on political corruption of the FBI. Balls and strikes. Enforcement of law, not recreation of it. Balls and strikes. Enforcement of law. That's what the FBI is supposed to be doing. Political analyst Michael Murphy complained the president would rightfully point out the removal. The president is a genius at taking something like this and blowing it up into Titanic size. I'm sorry, a politically corrupt FBI is a Titanic-sized moment, is it not? What about the politicization of the CIA, the Department of Homeland Security, the IRS? What about the use of NSA intelligence gathering capability for political ends? What about that? Tell me that's not Titanic size. That's not a Titanic size mess. Liberal Princeton University professor Adia Glaude Jr. chimed in with his own whining. It's always designed to really undermine the truth value of the press, the truth value of the investigation, to leave doubt once the conclusions are drawn. Yeah. Yeah. You got senior correspondents lying in front of the American people. You have the entire ABC News network behind his lies, well, until somebody points out that they're lies. And suddenly it's all Brian Ross's fault. Sure, he had something to do with it. Yes, he needed to be better than what he was. Yes, he deserves his suspension with no pay during the month of December. But ABC went with it. And it's strange, when it all went south, they immediately said, well, it didn't measure up to ABC's incredible news editorial screening process. Well, how interesting they found out that it didn't match up and didn't meet up with all those lofty ideals until after it was reported. Chuck Todd's worried about thought police. Really? Thought police? You want to see thought police? Go out somewhere in some city in the United States and stand up for the non-removal of a Robert E. Lee statue. You want to see thought police? Stand up and say that all lives matter. You want to see thought police? Point out the fact that the anti-American, politically thug, left, progressive elitists of this nation are trying to kill it. You're listening to The Wells Report. This is the USA Radio Network.
All right, sir. Good first hour there.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And off we go. Yeah. And off we go. Okay. Alrighty then.
All right, man. I'm gonna run to the restroom. Be right back.
Okay, cool. I'm doing just dadgum good. Well, that's good. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Oh. Oh, Brian. Um.
All right, so you have 2.5 minutes.
Thank you, sir. You know what drives me crazy about iPads? It takes forever for them to recharge.
Oh yeah.
Drives me crazy. It just takes forever. And they don't, the amount of recharging time, on like your cell phone
Uh-huh.
is probably a third of the amount of time that you get back.
Yeah.
I bet you it's at least 50-50 or less on an iPad.
Yeah, I believe it, man. You got 30 seconds?
30 dang seconds.
All right, here we go.
North to south, coast to coast, this is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Good to see you. Thanks very much for joining us. Our telephone number is 844-927-6691. 844-927-6691. President Trump left Washington, D.C. today, went out to Utah, and he has announced what might be the biggest rollback of federally protected lands in history. His decision on the Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante national monuments would mark an unprecedented use of presidential power to shrink the national monuments designated by two of his predecessors. Secretary of the Interior Ryan Zinke has recommended that Trump vastly reduce the size of the monuments, stripping them of federal protections instead of turning them over to stewardship of state and tribal governments. Trump said this: "We're going to be doing something the state of Utah and others wanted to be done for many, many years. So important for states' rights and so important for the people of Utah." There's another name for setting aside national monuments by presidents. It's called stealing. And you know what? It's garbage. These people in the coast, they live in cities like Baltimore, Maryland. They live in places like New York City, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They live on top of each other. And so when they think about Utah, they think about this fantastic, beautiful, pristine place that we simply must protect. We simply must protect it. Oh my God, we got to protect it. Will they ever get out there to see what they protected? No. And if they ever got out to Utah in the first place to see what they protected, they'd be protected from seeing it. You see, what we're doing is we're going from one end of the country to the other, creating rock and tree museums. Seriously? Here's what I think we should do. I think we should give the states back their land. I know. Speaking of President Trump, today he endorsed Alabama Republican Senate nominee Roy Moore, telling voters we need him to tackle illegal immigration, tax reform, and more. This after weeks of holding back his full support for the embattled candidate. The White House made it official in a statement confirming Trump personally backed Moore during a phone call. The president had a positive call with Judge Roy Moore, during which they discussed the state of the Alabama Senate race. The president endorsed Judge Moore's campaign, said Principal Deputy Press Secretary Raj Shah. Moments earlier, Moore tweeted that Trump had given him his support and said, "Go get him, Roy." Just got off the phone with President Trump, who offered his full support, says he needs a fighter to help him in the U.S. Senate. I look forward to fighting alongside the president to make America great again. Good timing for the president. There's only 1 week left before voters head to the polls. We haven't heard anything about polls suggesting the Democrat candidate has an insurmountable lead. That's because he doesn't. The president made another superb point today. And thankfully, he shared it with we, the people of the United States, because, you know, if he had said it anyplace else, it would have never seen the light of day. Democrats' refusal to give even one vote for massive tax cuts is why we need Republican Roy Moore to win in Alabama. We need his vote on stopping crime, illegal immigration, the border wall, the military, pro-life, VA, judges, Second Amendment, and more. No to Jones, a Pelosi-Schumer puppet. Completely true. Until now, President Trump has kept a distance from Moore while making it clear he opposes Jones, refraining from condemning Moore in the same way that Senate Republicans have. The Republicans in the Senate promised that Roy Moore, even if he is elected, will face an instant ethics investigation. What are they going to do? Send him home? You try that, Mitch. You go right ahead, Mr. McConnell. You try that. You try sending Roy Moore home. I'm telling you. There are only about 1,000 people there that actually think that they own this whole country. They think they get to decide who and who isn't going to have a part of this great American leadership activity. It is quite literally something analogous to an ant crawling up a cow's leg and assuring the cow that he's going to be gentle. I don't mean to make this overly plain so that you actually understand what I'm saying, you morons in Washington. But the people of the United States have spoken. You either need to become Americans again, or you need to get out of town. Follow your buddy, Jeff Flake. Follow your friend, Bob Corker. Leave government service forthwith. You should have never been in it in the first place because it has the word service in it. The only service that you understand is what is being foisted on you, not what you're supposed to be doing with someone else. Since the media already hates him, do you suppose that endorsing Judge Roy Moore for the Senate will hurt President Trump? 844-927-6691. Since the media already hates him, will endorsing Judge Roy Moore for the Senate hurt President Trump? The answer is no. No. Not going to hurt President Trump. If President Trump said that Roy Moore was the second coming of Satan, the American media would immediately report that the President of the United States had infuriated Satan worshipers from one end of the country to the other. No, I'm sorry. The mainstream media has made it plain. They hate the president. Got it? So now the president needs to forget about the press, forget about the polls, and just move forward with his agenda. That's what he needs to do. Keep tweeting, Mr. President. We're listening. We're reading. We're getting it. We understand what you do, especially those of us who live in the western parts of the United States. We kind of like it that the government is giving back land it should have never owned in the first place. You just keep doing your work, Mr. President. I assure you, we've got your back. So since the media already hates him, will endorsing Judge Roy Moore for the Senate hurt President Trump? The answer is no. Will electing Roy Moore hurt the Republican Party? Yes. Will it hurt American conservatism? No. But it will hurt the Republican Party. Why? Because the Republican Party isn't a conservative party. The Republican Party is a weak Democrat party. Everybody knows it. And there is a tide in America that is changing. The tide in America that is changing is indeed the fact that those people in the Republican in name only party, the mainstream moderate Rockefeller Republican Party, you are slowly being dealt out of the game. You are being dealt out of the game because you are not doing what the people want. You are not doing what the people want you to do, which is why you keep getting voted against. There was this brave Democrat on the air this morning on a television station that said, "Oh, the Democrats are going to take over the House of Representatives. They're going to take over the Senate. They're going to do all that kind of stuff because Mr. Trump is a jerk." You know what I think? I think the Republican Party, such as it is going to have a bigger majority in both houses after this next election. What does the Democrat have? What do the Democrats have to offer? And I know what you're thinking. Listen to that partisan, right-wing, crazy, wacko nut job from Dallas talk about all this anti-Democrat stuff. You know why I'm talking about anti-Democrat stuff? Because nobody in the Democrat Party has the guts to talk about anti-Democrat stuff, except of all people, Donna Brazile. Donna Brazile. I would have never, ever thought that I would have ever agreed with Donna Brazile on anything. But if there's a Democrat Party in 10 years, it's going to be because of her book. When you have an entire political party like the Democrat Party check out, just like they've done, they have checked out completely. What they have done is they have cashed in their American card. They are now anti-American progressive thugs. Anti-American progressive thugs. And they don't bring anything to the discussion about making America better because they hate it and they want it hurt and they want it destroyed. Oh, that's reprehensible and that's terrible and that's awful and so on and so forth, and they should be hung by their thumbs from the tallest yardarm. Okay, I got it. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is that because there's no Democrat Party breathing down the neck of the Republican Party with real, honest to goodness American ideas, the Democrat Party of John Kennedy, who said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. That Democrat Party, since there is no Democrat Party like that actually wants to make the country better, the Democrat Party can sit around and play politics and pick their nose all day. They don't have to come up with anything good. And if they do come up with something good, they don't really have to hurry and get it enacted. We don't need any of that. We don't need any of that. Come on, we'll take our time. Maybe get the tax bill done by Christmas, maybe that. Yeah, the heck with Obamacare, Schpamacare, whatever. Heck, man, a lot of us really like Obamacare. 72% of Americans disagree with you. And because the Democrat Party is in disarray, lost in the desert, absolutely making itself look like a cartoon of an incompetent labor union, the Republican Party doesn't have to act. They don't have to be supporters of the American Constitution. They can do anything they want. And who's left? Well, strangely enough, conservatives like me, like Judge Roy Moore, like a lot of people that care about this country more than we care about politics. This is a great country. It's time for the Democrats to look deep inside themselves and start coming up with things to make the country better. And guess what? Taxing us into oblivion and spending our children and our great-grandchildren's money is not the way to move America forward. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is the USA Radio Network.
All right, man. Sounding good.
Thank you, sir. Means a lot.
1 minute. Back in 10 seconds.
Thank you. You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 844-927-6691. We, the people of the United States, are watching this holier-than-thou political establishment make a fool of itself. We are watching these people completely and totally wrap themselves around the axle of anti-American thuggery. We are watching an entire political party immerse itself in intellectual dishonesty, leading to just plain dishonesty, leading to delusional dishonesty. We are watching this political establishment seduce the IRS, turning the IRS into the most hated agency in government service by virtue of the fact that that awesome capability of destroying lives, of suppressing political opposition, of anti-American activities ran rampant during the Obama administration, and nobody went to jail. The American intelligence industry, the American intelligence agencies turned into political acolytes, providing their Democrat progressive masters with intelligence that we, the people, paid for the sake of destruction of the political opposition. This isn't partisan politics being spewed by some right-wing talk show host. This is the news.
Oh, he sounds so angry, doesn't he? He just sounds so angry.
I'm angry.
Oh, it's just an act. He's just putting on a show.
It's not a show. It's not a show. I read the Declaration of Independence. I read the Constitution of the United States. It's easy. It's only 4 pages. I read the Bill of Rights. I know what the Bill of Rights was written to do. And I've seen the rape and pillage of the Bill of Rights for the sake of politics, all I want and all I will see. I am not going to stand by and allow evil to work its destruction on the greatest nation in the world's history and remain silent. I am not. I'm not going to allow people to continue staring through the facts and staring through truth, intently looking for politics, finding that, and then acting on the politics instead of the truth that they had to ignore in order to get the politics to work. I got a lot of friends in the Republican Party. I got a lot of friends who are, honest to God, no kidding, public servant politicians. I love them like, in some cases, I love them like brothers. Michael Burgess from the Texas 26th, one of the greatest men I've ever known. He is only one man. And I have seen him stand in the well of the United States Congress, almost to the brink of tears, trying to defend the House of Representatives, an institution that he absolutely loves, from the onslaught of politics that has made it during the time a hated institution in American life. He couldn't bear it. If he ever quits, that's going to be why. A good man mired in the mud. We, the people of the United States, need to do better. We have taken the first very good step. But the next time somebody gives you a bunch of crap about the President of the United States, look them right in the eye and say, enough. Enough. You don't like the President of the United States? I got an idea for you. Put a real American on the ballot and see what you can do about coming up with something to make the country better, and maybe you'll get some votes. Until then, enjoy the presidency. This is the Wells Report of the USA Radio Network.
All right, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I just saw something a minute ago that said Supreme Court approves full enforcement of Trump's travel ban.
Oh, really? Would you check that out, please?
Yeah.
Full enforcement of travel ban. The Supreme Court support. Would you give me that, please? Wait a minute. I can do that. Hold on. I got that. Wait a minute. Hold on. Thank you. We got to get those televisions going, man. Got to get the TVs going. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Get those TVs going soon. Oh, doo-dah dare. Got it.
All right, back in 1 minute.
One damn minute.
All right, back in 10 seconds.
Ready? You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number is 844-927-6691. 844-927-6691. The United States Supreme Court is allowing President Trump's travel ban to go into full effect. The executive order allows Trump to restrict travel to the U.S. from 6 mostly Muslim countries. The High Court's ruling allows the travel ban to take effect as legal challenges move forward. Those legal challenges are going to get to the United States Supreme Court, and I wouldn't be surprised if even the liberal wing of the United States Supreme Court can see beyond their own political bias. In other words, through the facts, through the law, through the Constitution, Declaration, Bill of Rights, etc., and actually see the truth that the president gets to do what the president gets to do when it comes to immigration. Tomorrow is a big day for the United States of America. It involves that very supreme and very important Supreme Court. Reported by Bill Mears of Fox News like this. The encounter between a same-sex couple and a Colorado baker lasted just a few moments, but the legal, political, and social impact could extend for decades after the Supreme Court takes up their case tomorrow. The justices will hear oral arguments in perhaps the most closely watched appeal so far this term, pitting religious convictions against anti-discrimination law. At issue is the July 2012 encounter when Charlie Craig and David Mullins of Denver visited Masterpiece Cake Shop to buy a custom-made wedding cake. Owner Jack Phillips refused his services when it was told that it was for a same-sex couple. A state civil rights commission sanctioned Phillips after a formal complaint from the gay couple. This case has never been about cakes, Mullins told Fox News. It's about the rights of gay people to receive equal service in business and not be afraid of being turned away because of who they are. It's about basic access to public life. The Trump administration backs Phillips, who is represented in court by the Alliance Defending Freedom, a conservative Christian nonprofit. He has lost at every step in the legal appeals process. I serve everybody that comes in, gay, straight, Catholic, Muslim, atheist. I welcome everybody into my shop, Phillips told Fox News recently. I just don't create cakes for every event that's presented to me. Phillips said he lost business and had to let employees go because of the controversy. The court tomorrow will examine whether applying Colorado's public accommodations law to compel the local baker to create commercial expression violates his constitutionally protected Christian beliefs about marriage. By wading again into the culture wars, the justices will have to confront recent decisions on both gay rights and religious liberty, a 2015 landmark opinion legalizing same-sex marriage nationwide, and a separate 2014 decision affirming the rights of some companies to act on their owners' faith by refusing to provide contraception to their workers. Chief Justice John Roberts predicted the current legal dilemma in his gay marriage dissent. Hard questions arise when people of faith exercise religion in ways that may be seen to conflict with the new right to same-sex marriage. That's because The American legal process is at least imperfect and could not see the forest for the trees. And that started at the legislative level and worked its way through to the courts. Craig and Mullins met on a blind date in 2010, decided to get married a couple of years later. Since Colorado did not permit it at the time, they tied the knot in Massachusetts. While planning for a hometown reception with friends and family, the two decided to visit Philip's small shop in a Denver suburb. Along with Craig's mother and a book of ideas, they met with Phillips for just 20 seconds by the owner's count when he told them, "Guys, I don't make cakes for same-sex weddings." What followed was a horrible pregnant pause, during which what was happening really sunk in and they were mortified and embarrassed, recalled Mullins. "We teared up. It was a very painful and emotional moment for us. It made us feel helpless. To this day, I feel Dave and I are sort of on guard when we go into public accommodations, whether we can talk about our relationship openly for the fear of being discriminated against again." Well, gosh, guys, are your rights more important than everybody else's? Are your rights more important than everyone else's? It seems as though you believe so. E pluribus unum, of many one. That means you don't get to say that somebody else's rights are wrong and yours are correct. Their rights are rights as well. That's where live and let live comes in. You know, gay America spent an awful lot of time moving forward on a live and let live kind of vibe. And you know why? Because it works and it's right and it's true and it's just. Live and let live. But here's where you made your mistake. You wanted to change the definition of marriage. Christian marriage, Old Testament marriage, pretty close to the same thing. So in order for you to move forward in a redefinition of marriage, you had to say that the Bible was wrong. 83% of people in the United States are religious. 83% of the people of the United States, or slightly less, are Christians. You just besmirched their Bible. This man who runs this cake shop, he's got First Amendment rights. And yes, there is a difference between marriage and what can be accomplished by legislation and by legality. See, marriage is religious. Congress shall make no law regarding religion. People go to courthouses all over America constantly and get married. Marriage being used as a generic term, it is actually a civil union. It works beautifully. It is all that the legal people of the United States can do when it comes to religious marriage. They cannot redefine what is in the Bible. They cannot redefine what people go to church and believe in. That's not what a court is for. A court is to define an accommodation for you. The accommodation is a civil union. But to try to redefine biblical marriage, and that is almost what the Supreme Court tried to do. Almost. If they did try to actually redefine marriage as found in the Bible of all of the faiths, the Judeo-Christian ethic that built this nation. Oh, and don't get me started about the Quran. The Quran's pretty straightforward when it comes to this too. So just for whatever it's worth. The simple case of the matter is that redefining marriage was a bridge too far. Civil unions, on the other hand, are completely and totally within the scope of the courts, of the legislatures, of the lawyers, of everyone. You can do it tomorrow. No one can argue. You'd never lose a case anywhere. Well, we've never lost a case anywhere so far yet. That's because the real case hasn't been heard yet. The one I'm talking about. The one where the Supreme Court of the United States is somehow going to magically dictate what the Bible means. They don't get to do that. That's not in their purvey. Should you be able to pledge your troth to each other? Sure. Absolutely. Should you be able to be treated like everybody else? Sure. Sure. But I have walked into a restaurant with no shirt and no shoes, and I got no service. I was asked to leave, in fact. Was I horrified? No. Actually, I was drunk. Oops. I suddenly realized, oh, wow. I mean, I'd been out in the desert all day. I mean, I was tall and tan and had some cutoffs on and didn't think anything about it. Knew everybody in the restaurant. They knew me. Didn't think anything about it. Bye-bye, John. You got to get a shirt. Oh, gosh, you're right. Shoes, too. Yeah, I got them in the car. You see, I happen to believe that people who have private businesses have private businesses. I happen to believe that a private business cannot be forced by the state into violating the First Amendment. In fact, I believe that anybody who politically feels that that should be the case is actually a socialist. Because in a socialist government, there is no religion. Not at all. As a matter of fact, religion is the opiate of the masses and can hold absolutely no real power in a socialist state. And if that's the kind of state you want, Venezuela is just across the Gulf of Mexico. It might be hard to get a wedding cake made there too, but be careful. They carry automatic weapons there. Everybody. It's also hard to find flour and sugar and eggs because it's a socialist government. But that's what the Supreme Court of the United States is going to hear arguments about tomorrow. Whether or not the state can force a private business into violating the First Amendment. I suspect that the Supreme Court is going to find its way to perhaps uphold the First Amendment, considering the entire country is based on it. And while I believe that all these people at the circuit courts of appeal can do whatever it is that they do, they can come up with fascinating legal arguments. You should have heard the argument. It was fantastic. I just had to find against common sense, reality, the Bible, everything that we hold dear and true in the United States. I had to look through so much fact and so much reality to get to that dumb decision that you're trying to overturn right now that I just couldn't help myself. You really should pack your bags and leave, Mr. or Ms. Justice, because you don't get the United States. And the Bible is clear about weddings, marriages. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Go forth and enjoy your civil union. Render unto the Lord what is the Lord's. That's marriage. Stop putting your personal life in the courts. They got better things to do. You could have gone down to the Green is Golden bakery and gotten 50 wedding cakes. That really isn't what you wanted, was it? No, that's not what you wanted at all. You wanted to play politics. You wanted to show that ridiculous, stupid Christian just exactly who was who and what was what and how the new reality was going to inflict itself even on him. Our rights are more important than your rights. Sorry, it's a bridge too far. You know, it's so strange that people who preach equality at every possible turn, the American left, the Democrats, you don't believe in equal representation when it comes to the rights that built this land. This is the Wells Report and the USA Radio Network.
Alrighty, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Man, this time it's just flying on by.
Yeah, what's really interesting about this show is I'm actually engaged in it and it's flying by. I mean, I was engaged. You remember that show we had last week? That show we had last week where I said it went by so fast and I really didn't remember much of it.
Yeah.
Everybody assured me that it sounded okay. I was just going, oh, you know.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the chat room and see what's going on. Hello?
Hello?
7 people. 7 people. Thank you, Mark. Dang, son, you came out hot. What? Well, whatever do you mean?
Back in 1 minute.
Back in 1 minute.
All right, here we go in 10.
You are listening to the Wells Report. Greetings. I am John David Wells. Telephone number is 844-927-6691. I know what you're thinking. You're saying to yourself, I'm not going to call that guy. I'm not going to throw myself into that wood chipper. Listen to that guy. Really, I'm a sweet, darling, gentle little puffball. No, I'm very reasonable. It's just that as you go through this job, you know, people keep hitting, you know, your buttons. And the buttons that bug me the most are the ones that involve support for my country. And people like Time Magazine, you know, really make me angry. Remember the person of the year? Let me unleash the incredible power of Google. Times Person of the Year. Let's see. Times Persons of the Year. Let me get to, there we go, Wikipedia. By the way, Wikipedia is trying to raise money, so give them some money, would you? Charles Lindbergh, Walter Chrysler, Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi. You see the guy that, he's from the rice industry, right? Gandhi, Mahatma Rice? Good. No? Oh, no, you're talking about the political guy from India. Oh, that's right. I don't know. He wasn't here for very long. It was like he was here today and Gandhi tomorrow. Just can't help myself. Franklin Roosevelt. Who else? Haile Selassie. Chiang Kai-shek. Who else? Adolf Hitler was Time Magazine's Person of the Year. Joseph Stalin, twice. Let's see, Konrad Adenauer, the Chancellor of West Germany. Yeah, there you go. John Foster Dulles. Don't get me started. Charles de Gaulle. I would like a pheasant on the glass sandwich. Let's see, William Westmoreland. No, thank you. Hopefully they didn't give that thing to, what's his name? They didn't. Okay, good. All right. Let's see, who else? Jimmy Carter. Ronald Reagan. Lech Walesa, remember? Mikhail Gorbachev. Pope John Paul II. Ken Starr. Rudy Giuliani. Vladimir Putin. Barack Obama. Ben Bernanke. Mark Zuckerberg. Pope Francis. Donald Trump won it last year. Who's got a chance of winning it this year? That's right. Kim Jong-un. Robert Mueller is on the list. Chinese President Xi Jinping. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And of course, Colin Kaepernick for Person of the Year. Colin Kaepernick just feted at the ACLU dinner as NFL attendance still in decline. Yeah, the ACL award, I think it's the ACLU award for vaguely dishonest posing. I think that's what it was. I think that's what that ACLU award was. It's give it out so many times. You're listening to the Wells Reports. You're also listening to the USA Radio Network. We continue our broadcast in just a moment. You stay right where you are. Back in a flash.
All right, that's hour 2 is a wrap.
Thank you, sir.
Hour 2 is a wrap, and I'll be right back, man.
Well, all right, Dan.
All right.
Hey, buddy, come on in.
Well, hello.
Can you send me a PDF of the cover map?
You got him on the ropes. You need something to push him over the edge. Well, okay, let's see if we can't bring the rain down upon his head. Let's do that. Look, it's Adobe Acrobat. Hold on a minute. Application. Open recent file. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Clocks, music. Where are my tools? Need my tools. Tools. I need my tools. Where are my tools? That's where. Oh, that's where they are. Duh. Well. Huh? What? Oh, it just makes the light better for TV. Makes the light better for TV. Let's see. You want to come? All right. Here's what I'm going to do. Let me. I am going to have to. Yeah, I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to do it here. I'm going to have to. Hang on a second. Let me come up with one for you
Okay.
because I don't have one, and I will do it.
Yeah, if you can send it to me, he's asking for Advanced Medical Clinic.
Yeah, let me see if I can get that done. Radio. What's that? What's that website? Radio Locator. That's what it is. What kind of fool am I? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Daytime government.
Back in 1 minute.
Back in one damn minute. Okay. No.
All right, here we go in 10 seconds.
10 dang seconds. North to south, coast to coast. This is the Wells Report. Thanks for joining us. My name is John David Wells. Will the seemingly endless parade of sexual harassment scandals have a negative backlash against women? Should that backlash actually exist? 844-927-6691. Will the seemingly endless parade of sexual harassment scandals have a negative backlash against women in the workplace? Should that actually happen? This is a brilliant piece. Sheryl Sandberg could be an incredibly brilliant woman. She is the COO of Facebook. She posted a serious message on Facebook where she waded into the tidal wave of sexual harassment and assault accusations that you cannot escape no matter how hard you try. In her post, she wrote about her own experiences with harassment, including a hand under my leg under the table at a meeting, married men offering career advice alone late at night. Most alarming, a man at a conference who came to her hotel room late at night and banged on her door until she called security. She says, quote, sexual harassment has been tolerated for far too long in the halls of government and companies large and small. For the first time in my professional life, it feels like people are finally prepared to hold perpetrators responsible. I'm cheering, unquote. But that said, she is also worried about workplace repercussions that could limit the opportunities of women in their careers. Quote, I've already heard the rumblings of a backlash. Quote, this is why you shouldn't hire women, unquote. Her reply to that is very good. She says, actually, this is why you should, unquote. I understand that. We need systemic, lasting changes that deter bad behavior and protect everyone, she wrote. She noted that in her book, Lean In, a majority of senior male managers told her they were afraid to be alone with a female colleague. I won't do it. I will not be alone with a female colleague. Ever again. Ever again. Doing right by women in the workplace does not just mean treating them with respect. It also means not isolating or ignoring them, said Sandberg, encouraging men not just to hire women, but to mentor, advise, and promote them too. I don't know that I can do that. I don't know that I can do much more than say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. It's not that I'm trying to isolate them. Not at all. It's just that I got to be honest with you that the right thing to do at this particular moment is to just say yes, ma'am. Am I wrong? 844-927-6691. 844-927-6691. Am I wrong here? No. No, I'm not wrong. Would I hire women in the workplace? Absolutely. I absolutely would. Would I limit my time? Certainly alone I would. If I'd actually eradicate it completely if I could. And it's not because I don't like women. Especially in the industry that I'm in. I made it very, very clear that when it comes down to being able to remember endless details of conversation, of words said, spoken, etc., women have no peer. But I've also said that in this particular current situation, I can't afford to get taken down. I can't do it. Fortunately, my mother's words continue to ring in my ear. You've heard them time and time again. Mind your manners, keep your hands to yourself. Golden words. Golden words. The only time I was ever accused of sexual harassment in the workplace was when I had caught one of my female coworkers' boyfriends in fraud. And she did everything she could do to save his job, including try to destroy my career. But fortunately, the facts were on my side. But it came down to somebody else making a decision. Am I a caring individual? You bet I am. I was raised with two sisters. I listened to their stories of unfair treatment in the workplace and just grind my teeth. But you can't just say, John David, just do the right thing and you don't have anything to worry about. Wrong. Wrong. You can find yourself in a position where somebody thinks you disrespect them for some reason. Nothing could be further from the truth. Like I keep saying, I'm a competitor. I have to have people working with me that want to compete. And I adore team sports, ensemble acting. I enjoy collective effort. I enjoy the coming together as a tight team that cares about each other, that works towards everyone's success based on respect, based on all that. I also believe in meritocracy. The best players play, period. You want to play? Be the best player. There are differences between the way men see competition in the workplace and outside the workplace, and the way women see competition inside and outside the workplace. It's a different cultural experience. We all perceive the same things, but in different ways. This can be changed from just seeing things differently into very serious difficulties in the workplace if you're not incredibly difficult, unless you're incredibly careful. And it's not just women. It's not just women fighting for respect in the workplace. Men too. These are very difficult, hard things to deal with. But if you don't think that after watching a parade of some of the most successful, some of the most wealthy, some of the most incredibly talented people in the world being blasted into sexual harassment oblivion, if you don't think that that has left a mark on men in the workplace in management positions, you're dreaming. I'm not going to stop caring about my female teammates. But will I treat them differently? Of course I'll treat them differently. The Philip Brown is our executive producer on this radio broadcast. Is there anybody here with us? Just Israel, right? Israel's with us? But if he wasn't with us, I wouldn't have any problems with it. But if, say, for example, it was the Francine Brown sitting over there, would I be very nervous and concerned? Yes. Yes, I would. I would be very nervous. The Francine Brown. And does that make a difference? Yeah. Now look, am I trying to be a jerk? No, I'm trying to be honest. I've told you that I've struggled with this. I have struggled with this. I'm a manager here. And so, Sheryl Sandberg, the author of Lean In, great book, by all means, lean in, compete, do it, do whatever you have to do. Do not allow yourself to be disrespected. I'm not saying that you should. As a matter of fact, I should say you should double down. I was the guy that said, why aren't you hitting these people in the face when they do this? Why aren't you sending a zinging backhand across the face of a guy who just was inappropriate with you at the company party and then sit there and stare at him and make him explain it? That was me who said that. I don't understand why that well-timed slap has ever left the female's inventory of civilized response to uncivilized male action. But is there going to be backlash, Ms. Sandberg? Yes, there's going to be backlash. Should there be backlash? Well, yeah. Yeah, because as this has come up, I've spent a lot of time talking to women and said, tell me your story. The stories I've heard would curl your hair. The stories I've heard are just unacceptable. I mean, I would no more consider them than the man on the moon. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've even seen any male act that way around a woman. And if I did, I certainly wouldn't just stand there. I'd say, hey, amigo, you know what we even need to do here? You need to go wash your face. But what should men do now? What should male managers do now? 844-927-6691. Should they say, yes, ma'am? That's fully what I intend. Do I plan to spend time alone behind closed doors with women? No. This is the Wells Report on the USA Radio Network.
Must be tough to be a single guy right now.
Well, I can imagine. I've talked to the Philip Brown, and he's okay. He's doing fine.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it just, you got to, if you ever, I don't know, you just got to make sure, I guess.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know how you do that.
I don't either.
You know, like I said, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but am I going to spend time? There's no way I'm going to spend time behind a closed door with a female.
Yeah.
Out of the question.
You know, when Mike Pence first said that stuff, I thought
everybody thought he was a prude.
Yeah, you know,
he looks pretty damn smart now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, hey, nice going, Mike. I don't mean to be harsh, but
It's like he knew what was coming or something.
Something. Hey, Phil, would you do me a favor? Would you bring me my power pack, my power supply? It's on the front desk over there. Would you mind? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Son of a gun. That's not what I wanted to do. Why did I do that? Dumb buttskus. Thank you, my friend. That was stupid. Alrighty then, let's see what I can do here. What? Eh? I'm sorry?
All right, back in 1 minute.
Yeah, you can unplug the iPad. Or you can move that one to the middle, the light to the middle, or yes, or that to the middle. Excellente.
All right, we're back in 10 seconds.
Okie dokie. You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. We have a live radio or television broadcast. It is on YouTube Live Events. You can find it by going to my webpage, and that is, of course, Facebook. You can just if you go to my timeline, it's right there. It says the Wells Report is on again Monday. What would happen if the anti-American political thug left? Blah 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 blah. Anyway, you can find me there, or you can find me on Twitter at The Wells Report. Find me on my Twitter handle at The Wells Report. And we are waiting for you there. So there are people that say that on this chat room here, they were talking. It's, to be fair, it's not like women don't lie. We all have the ability to lie. Some of us tend to be more honest than others. There's a Canadian friend of mine who's been listening to the Wells Report for years. Hi, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Welcome. She said, I'm Canadian, married, and American, and came back to look after an ailing parent. Absolutely. Bright lighter, one of my dear friends. I don't hug strangers out in public anymore, only handshakes and or a fist bump. To be fair, I have never once been for human contact. Sure, a handshake here and there. My current job, everybody fist bumps. I'd rather just say hi and keep to myself. Am I antisocial? Maybe, but I still only hug people that are my family or someone that I'm seeing. Those are good ideas. Is it time to leave women alone? Yeah, it is. Is it time to leave them alone? Probably. For a while. And not because it's time to be passive aggressive and be a snot. That has nothing to do with anything. You know what it has to do with? Survival. What's going to happen to Bill O'Reilly? What's going to happen to some of these guys, that made deals? Okay, they made a mistake. They paid the price. Sometimes they paid a lot of money. The price was very high, and it wasn't taxpayer money either. No, this was right out of their billfold, especially in the case of Bill O'Reilly. What's going to happen to those guys? What's going to happen to Matt Lauer? Is he done? Is he cooked? Brian Williams lies on the air as the news anchor of NBC News. He actually survived, which is a bigger crime against we, the people of the United States. It's a hard call. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that women have to deal with this stuff. I think it's just stupid. This is idiocy. But does that mean that I haven't had the joyous interaction with females in the workplace where I've worked in the past? Absolutely. Is it edgy? Sure. Was it damaging? No. I believe in a more equitable workplace culture. I do. But is there a way that women could help? Is there a way for people to warn us off? Is there a way for women to do that? I mean, if you wish to be left alone, is there a way you could tell us? Maybe dress in a suit instead of a dress? Maybe a shorter, more conventional hairstyle? Maybe less makeup? Is that something that should be even thought about? I mean, is that just plain wrong? I mean, it would help. It really would help. You know, I've noticed that there are some females in the culture that have a way of grooming themselves in a way that you understand that they have different priorities. Get my drift? Is there a way for more women to do that? I mean, should there be a way for us to know in the workplace to back off, smile and nod and say, yes, ma'am, before we hit a tripwire and end up watching our career vaporize before our eyes? I'm just asking, sincerely, and I would like to know. You're listening to the Wealth Report. This is the USA Radio Network.
All right.
I like that. Like that show. Like this show. I like this show. I like this show. I like the show. Oh. Ah.
Back in 1 minute.
One damn minute. One damn minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. I like this show. If I wasn't doing this show, I'd be listening to this show. Does that make me nuts? Maybe it
No.
does. Huh?
No, it doesn't.
Really do believe I'd be listening to the show. Sure would like to get back on TalkStream Live.
All right,
I need to
here
call
goes
those
10
people.
seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds, dang it. I was just going to Twitter to see if anybody had sent me a note. And one of the guys I follow is Ryan Fournier. Ryan A. Fournier. That's his Twitter handle, at Ryan A. Fournier. He said this: breaking, the Ninth Circuit Court in Hawaii rules the Supreme Court does not have the power to allow President Trump to enforce the travel ban. And then he adds, kidding. Very funny. Very, very funny. My telephone number is 844-927-6691, 844-927-6691. On the sexual harassment thing, we've got a little bit of work to do. And I'm talking about men. Specifically, Bruce Bartlett, a former policy advisor for President Reagan. He appeared on MSNBC to talk about the recent tax cut bill passed in the Senate. Host Joy Reid said, what would be the justification in your mind that Republicans would have for raising taxes on lower income people because they spend all their income, so why raise taxes on them? And then Bruce Bartlett said, it really defies comprehension. Maybe they think the poor have it so easy they need to have to pay more taxes to force them to go out and work more. What are you saying, that there's some sort of idea that you can tax someone out of bad behavior? How much is a pack of cigarettes now? $6, $7, $10? How much?
It's about 7 to 10.
$7 to $10, yeah. Back in before I quit in 1984, I quit smoking in 1984. I smoked Marlboro Red in the box. How much are those? How much is a pack of those these days?
Those are probably about 8.
Those are $8? Okay. $8. I'm sorry, were the same leftist clods doing the same thing for big sodas in New York and like Philadelphia? Yeah, that's right. Okay, I remember that. It defies comprehension. Maybe they think the poor have it so easy they need to have to pay more taxes to force them to go out and work more. I know it works for them to have cigarettes and soft drinks. It really, the amazing thing is people seem to be accepting this so meekly and mildly. It's really akin to rape. It really is. Hey, Bruce, a creative interpretation of a law that hasn't seen the light of day or hasn't gone into effect yet or isn't even out of a conference committee. A string of words is nothing like a rape. Nothing. Like I said, when it comes to sexual harassment in the workplace, we got a lot of work to do. Bruce. Flipping moron. At least you're on the right network, Bruce. You just stick with it. This was kind of nice. I kind of appreciated this. Facebook is banning women for calling men scum. When comic Marcia Belsky sarcastically replied, men are scum, to a friend's Facebook post back in October, She was banned from the platform for 30 days. In the wake of the hashtag #MeToo movement, countless women have taken to Facebook to express their frustration and disappointment with men and have been promptly shut down or silenced, banned from the platform for periods ranging from 1 to 7 days. Women have posted things as bland as men ain't, all men are ugly and even all men are allegedly ugly. And they had their posts removed. They've been locked out of their accounts for suggesting that since all men are ugly, country music stars like Blake Shelton winning the sexiest man isn't a triumph. I personally posted men are scum in November. I received a 7-day ban. It's still ongoing. 2 days, 23 hours left, said comedian Allison Klemp. Kayla Avery, a comedian in Boston, said she's been banned as close to 10 times by Facebook and is currently serving out the end of her third 30-day ban. One of the first times she got banned was when her page was flooded with male trolls calling her derogatory and sexist terms. Avery posted, "Men continue to be the worst," because she felt helpless to stop the hate. I want to double check something here. Kayla Avery. Let's see. Nice. Men, is that the name of it? Let's see. Is that her? Yeah. Let me try this. Kayla Avery, HBO. HBO. Let me see if I got that. I think that's her. Kayla Avery is an incredibly funny human being. She's incredibly funny. All right. But that being said, Kayla Avery, very funny. She keeps getting banned from Facebook. I've never been banned from Facebook. Ever. I got banned from one page. They were being jerks. They're my friends, but they were still being jerks. So let me talk to you about something else here. Let's move forward quickly. Our telephone number is 844-927-6691. I am a conservative. I am a conservative, and I'm happy about it because I believe that I believe that a small government can damage the nation the least. In fact, I believe that a government that governs least governs best. I believe in lower taxes. I believe in a government that does less for you and gets out of the way so that you can do more for you and makes it possible for you to do more for you and understands the value of people who do for themselves instead of people who, for whatever reason, require something along the lines of constant help from government. Just saying. Being a conservative, however, does mean a few things to me. And one of those is states' rights. I believe that the states have the right to indeed handle things the way they see fit, the way their citizens see fit. And while I am extremely happy that gun rights supporters are looking right down the barrel of a very big win this week, I am a bit concerned about its implications. The bill that is going through the House right this moment would make concealed carry permits valid across state lines. It is simple, common sense legislation that if you're a law-abiding citizen, we're not going to turn you into a criminal just for crossing an invisible state line, said bill sponsor Representative Richard Hudson. Hudson says the bill simply attempts to clarify the patchwork of state laws that confuse citizens who can unwittingly get arrested when traveling from state to state. The only thing I can tell you about is when you have a concealed weapons permit, it is up to you to know about that very same patchwork of state laws and to do the right things to remedy the problem. It is possible for you to do that. It is possible for you to know exactly what's going on. In fact, not only is it possible, it's an absolute responsibility that you know what the laws are in the states that you're going into. It's called being responsible. And if you're going to carry a weapon, at the top of the list should be responsible. So, with all due respect to the good congressman, that's my first problem with this. Yeah, you know, it's so hard to figure out what the law is. Well, no, it's not. Okay, you can go to any website anywhere, unleash the incredible power of Google, and find out exactly what state you're going to cross and when you have to take your weapon off of you and put it in your glove compartment or put it on the dashboard of your car or do whatever a particular state requires you to do. The three-term congressman is also quick to point out the measure does not attempt to usurp state and local authority with federal law, nor does it ease background checks on gun purchases. Under this law, if Wyoming or Alabama said any person could carry a concealed weapon, they would be able to come to Times Square, Penn Station, carry that gun concealed. The chaos that would result would be utterly amazing. Yes, there would be so many criminals trying to get the hell out of Union Station. There would be you'd run a very big risk of being run over in the stampede. Hudson argued his bill says law-abiding citizens with concealed carry permits must follow that law of the state that they're in. When I go to New York, I have to follow New York's laws. That's fine. Bloomberg founded and bankrolls the Every Town for Gun Safety group, which advocates for gun control and efforts to stop gun violence. The group did not respond to a request to confirm that Bloomberg had indeed put $25 million in the reciprocity fight, which has become a top priority for the nonprofit. The American people are sick of liberal elites in New York and San Francisco telling us that we don't have the right to defend ourselves, Hudson said. The Senate companion bill to this measure is sponsored by, Texas GOP Senator John Cornyn, and now is in the Judiciary Committee. In 2013, Cornyn got support for his bill from 13 Democrats, including 7 who are still in the Senate. He would need their support and more to pass the measure with a 60-vote majority, considering Republicans have 52 senators in the chamber. I have carried for nearly 2 decades. But I believe in respecting the laws of the state in which I am traveling. That is just something that you have to do. And I think that's the American thing to do. Now, do I agree with states that say you cannot carry concealed? No, I don't agree. I think that's ridiculous. Not only do I think it's ridiculous, I think it's dangerous. I think that if you said for 90 days anybody could carry a weapon concealed if they wanted to in Chicago, the murder rate would drop to the teens, if not the single digits. Let me get to Rick in Fort Worth, listening on 1160 AM KBDT. Rick, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Wells Report. Hello.
Hey, JD. So let me turn the radio down. Okay, there we go. Going through Illinois, that's one of the toughest states around. They have restrictive gun laws. You have to have a certificate, if I'm not mistaken, saying that the weapon you are carrying in your vehicle is authorized to be yours.
Yes.
So you live in Texas, you would have to go to some law enforcement agency here and have them issue you a certificate of ownership for that weapon so that you could drive through Illinois. But if that's what you're saying, though, is you need to look these things up. But I'll just tell you right now, people stay out of Illinois. It's dangerous if you've got your gun.
Absolutely. Well, not just because it's dangerous because you've got your gun, but it's dangerous because you don't have your gun. I mean, in New York, Yeah, listen to this. Let me say this one more time. Schumer slammed reciprocity by saying this. Under this law, if Wyoming or Alabama said any person could carry a concealed gun, they could come into Times Square, Penn Station, carrying that gun concealed. The chaos that would result would be utterly amazing. Yeah, sort of like, having some cab robber chop off a cabbie's thumb in broad daylight in New York with a machete. Okay, so that's not chaos. That would be that's not chaos. That's utterly amazing.
It is. The card they have is a firearm owner's identification card that you have to get, and in Illinois, it's issued by the state police department. So there is no ownership of a gun that they don't get to know about if you're going through their state.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it. I do, Rick. Thank you very much for your call. I got to tell you something. I lived in a state where you had to register your firearms. Didn't have to register your long guns, had to register your handguns. I'm going to tell you that story coming up in just a couple of minutes. I mean, so there are people that say, my God, they are trying to register our handguns. Well, I've been there. What did it mean? Well, it wasn't as bad as you thought, actually. It wasn't as bad as you thought. Was it legal? No. Should it have been brought before the Supreme Court of the United States? Yes. But then again, you got to wonder, is that the way the people, your neighbors, actually want it? When is it that you become a strong steward for the Constitution, and when do you not?
All right, man.
All right, man.
I hate when people one of the news director called me right when that guy went on.
The news director, Tim?
Yeah. I had the problem with uploading his news, so I got to put that in for him.
We'll do it. That's good. It's all right. Tim's a good guy, man.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah.
He's a good old man. Like him.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's a good old boy. Like him. He's a good one. I'm not making fun of you. I was raised in North Carolina, okay?
Yeah, I know. I get it.
Yeah, man. You don't get to be upset with me. I was raised in North Carolina. Tar Heel. Like it. They send me to the box for 2 minutes. I feel shame. Then they set me free. So funny.
All right, back in 1 minute. All right, back in 10 seconds.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Our telephone number again is 844-927-6691. So there I am, living in Las Vegas, Nevada. Events unfolded that all but required me to start carrying a weapon. It was not something that I sought to fall into. It was just a shall we say, an interesting confluence of unfortunate facts that led to me saying to myself, I need to go get a weapon and I need to carry it everywhere I go. And so I did. But as I respected the laws of the state of Nevada, I could do one of two things. One, I could carry the weapon out in the open without doing a thing. And that was, open carry was the law of the land. And I said, well, that's cool. But I wanted to conceal it because I think it's a little bit rude to walk around, unless you're a police officer, unless you're a law officer of the law. I think it's a little rude to walk around with a gun in plain sight. Okay? Now, that's only if you're going someplace where people aren't walking around with their guns in plain sight. You know, I'm with my buddies out in Texas somewhere. We're out on a hog hunt or something like that. Everybody is armed to the flipping teeth. And so am I. Not just weapons, but knives. I mean, we're armed. I mean, you know, you just haven't lived until you've seen like a 500-pound hog come running at you at 40 miles an hour with the intent to break your leg and then slice it off with those shears he's got coming out of his mouth. And so the simple case of the matter is that, you know, if you're out in Texas, arm yourself. There are critters out here that would like to hurt you. All right, just so you know. So here's the thing. I went to the police with the weapons I intended to carry because in that particular state, you had to itemize the guns that you might have in your possession if you ever had to use them to defend yourself. You actually had them on the back of your concealed weapons permit. And I had like half a dozen. I mean, I qualified with half a dozen weapons because I never knew which one I was going to be carrying. And every single one of them was registered. Did anybody ever try to come and get my weapons? No. Would they have been successful if they had tried? No. But that never happened, so it never was a problem. Do I think that it could have been used to be a problem? No, I don't. Because once I got my concealed weapons permit, I could go anywhere. I could go into casinos. I could, as a matter of fact, the security guys loved us there. They knew we were carrying. They have sensors that told them that we were carrying. In case you're wondering, there are always those big rugs that are right beside the doors or right in front of the doors as you walk in. You walk across these rugs. That's the sensor. What I'm saying is this. Do I believe that all these laws should be in place? No, I don't. I believe that the Constitution is clear. I believe that states that infringe on someone's right to bear arms are creating a problem that should be challenged. Maybe. But it's not up to me to challenge Nevada's gun laws. It's up for the people of Nevada to do it. Same thing with Illinois. I think it's dangerous as hell. I certainly hope that more people don't get killed there. But as long as they have the laws that they have, I can assure you that more people will get killed there. And that is a terrible and terrifying shame. The executive producer of the Wells Report is the Philip Brown. My name is John David Wells. Thank you very much for listening to this edition of the Wells Report. See you tomorrow on the USA Radio Network.
All right, sir. Good show today.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it very much.
All right, man. Have a good afternoon, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
Okay, cool deal. Thanks, everyone. Thank you on the live chat, especially you, Bright Lighter. Great to wait. I know your name. Hang on a minute here. Just a second. Wait. I got to get over to my Facebook. Bright Lighter. Bright Lighter. Let's see here. What is, I just remember. Deborah. Ha! See, I know these things. Deborah. How cool of you. Deborah Weisman. Hi. It's great to have you listening during the day, too. Thank you very much. From Kelowna, the Napa Valley of Canada. I bet you it's cold up there now. Yikes. Good night, Yvonne. Stephen, thank you. Mark Maynard, always a pleasure. And the rest of y'all, have yourself a great old day. And until next time, have a fine time, and I'll see you.